And I've never seen growth like that since I've done any sort of marketing in the 17 years that I've been in the salon industry.
He has absolutely
I've
transformed
gotten
my
calls
business.
and inquiries I've never
A lot of growth, a lot of business money.
15 bookings.
Thank you, Jake, for everything that you've done.
I highly recommend Jake.
Able to book 6
You're
appointments.
making a good decision by hiring him.
Hey guys, it's Jake Randolph with PMU Marketer, and today I've got a very special guest on the podcast. So today I have Polly. She's been working with me about, 7 months now?
Yep.
Yeah, she's located in the UK. And real quick, just go ahead and introduce yourself to the listeners.
Hi, I'm Polly. I've been in the salon industry for 17 years. I started my microblading or permanent makeup career in 2020, and in April last year I went ahead and booked with Jake, and I've never seen growth like that since I've done any sort of marketing in the 17 years that I've been in the salon industry. So yeah, that's me.
Awesome. Yeah, I wanted to bring her onto the show because a lot of new artists, and like she said, she's been in the industry, the beauty industry, 17 years, but she's just started her microblading career in 2020, and I wanted to bring her on because she's had great results, and I think she has a lot she can share with you, like tactics on success, and how to convert leads, and how to really make the most of working with the marketer, because working with a marketer is a relationship. And so we're going to dive into that today. So I guess to start out with, Polly, like we talked about, you opened your microblading studio back up in April of 2021 after the lockdown. Is that correct?
Yep, we hadn't been in the UK, we hadn't been open very long, and we opened back up in April 2021. Middle of April, went with Jake as soon as we opened up, and that first 2 weeks I'd actually had 14 people book in with me in the first 2 weeks of booking with him. The thing is, I think a lot of people don't realise you do need to follow up the leads correctly. That's the whole point of Jake being able to bring the leads in for you, and you need to be able to have good customer conversation and actually bring them into, so they come in to book in with you. It's not just about Jake bringing in the clients for you. He makes them appear, and then you've got to keep them, which obviously isn't just second nature for everybody.
Right.
So I think that massively helps when you've been in the salon industry. It does help that, but obviously you do so much to also help with the follow-ups with the leads, and I think people really need to take notice of that.
Yeah, you make a great point, because like you said, I can give people a lot of leads, and I'll do my best to make sure they're quality leads. But at the end of the day, if you don't know how to sell, if you don't know how to communicate with your potential clients, if you don't know how to, really be a business owner, then you're not going to have as great a success in any kind of marketing or advertising. And so that's why I have that accelerator program, that really teaches people how to do all that stuff you just mentioned. Have you found the accelerator program helpful, even though you've been in the beauty industry 17 years?
Yeah, definitely. It's given me lots of little tips and hints along the way. And also it's about making sure that when you've then got that client coming in, you want them to take their recommendations and get their friends and their family to come in with you. And if you know that your service is good and you are a good person to be working with, then they're going to recommend you, and they're going to come in, and that's also brought in by yourself. It's 3 clients down the line.
That's a great point. Yeah.
That I've had, and also really because I've got, literally the other day I had somebody come in, and it was 5th in a line of friends that had come from way back in last April that had booked in from one of your leads. But yeah, all the tips and hints really help, and just chasing up on the leads, it is quite constant, but when you want to run a really good business, you've got to be open to sending messages at midnight if people text them.
Yeah, so I like the point you mentioned where you had one client, or a typical process for you get one client in the door, and then that turns into multiple clients. And that's what I try to teach business owners, because that's a huge concept. The most missed opportunity people have is when someone's sitting in their chair and they don't ask this question, which is, do you know anybody else that would love to get their brows done? Do you have any friends or family that would love to get their brows done too, or whatever service you offer, like hair done, nails done, whatever? That's a huge question, because they're going to refer people, and I call that the snowball effect, where you start at the hill and you got one client, and then it starts snowballing into more and more, and before you know it, the 20 clients you got from advertising turns into 60 to 100 clients long term.
Well, that's it. It's all about longevity. It's not about how many you'll be bringing in a week's time or 2 weeks' time. It's 2-3 years down the line. I really want to be having all my clients come back in for their 1 to 2 year touch-ups, and then every so often, how many clients are they bringing me in that year, and then how many are those bringing in each year? So it's thinking more longer down the road. And I think that's one of the things that when I booked with you, that was my thought process, is I want to scale my business up really far ahead in the long run, 5 years, 10 years, how busy do I want to be?
And that's that's a common situation I see is, with new business owners, they're scared to invest in marketing or advertising. And when they do, they want results right that minute. And I understand they want to get a return on investment. Return on investment is my number one priority. But for a new business owner that's, thinking about working with a marketer, whether it's me or somebody else, how long do you think they should give it, a fair shot before they're like, okay, this is not working for me?
Well, listen, even though I'd been in the salon industry for 17 years, I'd been on maternity leave for 4 years. And I'd had a really big gap. But I know that I work really well with people, and I know I can get clients coming in no matter what I'm doing. Obviously, I need you to be able to get me those permanent makeup clients. But for me, I was right. Well, this is how much I charge. So how many clients is it going to take for me to make my money back on what I've spent on yourself and obviously the Facebook ads? So obviously everywhere's depending on how much they're charging, whether it's £200 or £400, 2-3 clients coming in from those ads, and then I've covered myself.
Right.
So long as, and I was willing to take a hit as well, because it is about waiting. But for me personally, it happened really quickly. But I would be willing to give something at least 6 months, and it doesn't need to be that you're profiting. As long as you are even, then you're doing well, aren't you? You're building up your business.
And that's the thing. Like, a lot of marketers I know want to throw out like 15 to 20 appointments or 40 appointments, per month, to try to get people's attention. But the thing, I think a lot of business owners don't understand is, like, even if you break even with your advertising, that is free attention. You're getting free attention, you're getting free branding, which is reputation. You're growing your empire, for free, because you're making that money back already. Obviously you want to, over time, you want to do much better than breaking even, but like that's just a great concept to kind of realize.
And also for me, I was a beginner really, and I still am, but it's all experience. So like you said, you're getting free branding, you're getting your pictures that you can use for your portfolio, which is getting better and better. You're making sure you're getting better at Reels on Instagram and TikTok. And also you're getting that experience in to be even better for your next client. So it's all a learning curve. And I think a lot of people do expect, especially with permanent makeup, it to just be really quick money. And it's not, like you said, you've got to be marketing. That's got to come in with your business outgoings straight away from the get-go. But it's not easy money, and it's got to be a long-term thing. And so people come into it, expect to have it right now. Right. If you pick too soon, you're not going to smash it in 5 years down the line. And for me, the biggest thing I liked from your stories and stuff on Instagram and Facebook was how you explained the Coca-Cola advert. Yeah. It's so true. Like, I was like, of course, yeah. I probably hadn't thought of it like that, but I wouldn't not be with you anyway. But like you said, they're still advertising, yet everyone knows who Coca-Cola is.
Yep. And I made the reference the other day too on my training about, like, you know, whether it's like Budweiser or Coca-Cola or anywhere, like, you know, everybody knows what it is, but, you know, you see them on the Super Bowl paying millions and millions of dollars for commercials. You see their advertisements up everywhere because they understand the power of being first, or, you know, being the top of the mind. Like, you know, somebody might see your ad one day for permanent makeup and, you know, they're not in the mood, they're busy with their kids, they're tired, and then the next day they might see the same ad but they're in a better mood, you know, and book. And so that's why you should never give up on, you know, one person, even if they, you know, haven't booked right away.
Yeah, definitely. And I find, you know, with the ads that you do, 1 minute I'll, you know, every day somebody's constantly liking either the page. So they're not looking, but they're liking my page, so my page is growing. The more people that are liking just that advert, then they're clicking on and seeing my work. I'm not the best with it, you know. I do work my business around my small children, but I try, you know, and I'm trying to push myself all the time. But you then get them liking your posts, and then their friends are seeing it. So it's like you said, it's continual. You've got to keep your name out there. You want to be known for being the brow lady or makeup lady.
And the other thing people don't think about is, like, you know, everybody wants, you know, bookings right away, but, you know, when you're running ads, like you said, with the likes and the people visiting your page, that's all data that, as, you know, as marketers we use, because we can go back and, as you've seen, we can, you know, retarget people who didn't book the first time, you know, and just like hit people with different ads. And then a lot of those people will book over time as they get more used to the concept, or, you know, they get in the right mindset, or, you know, you name it, whatever their situation is. But the key is getting yourself out there.
Like to sit by. Some people do. I had literally a client the other day. She just said, I've been sitting by watching your page. She's wanted it done for a long time, but she's been nervous that she was again a lead from one of your adverts. I'd asked for my information. I sent her all the information over, and then she's just watched my page for you know, a couple of months, and then decided to take the leap. So it's definitely, it shouldn't be a really quick thing. If it's quick, I just think that it's not really the real deal, and it's just going to plummet straight down afterwards anyway. But, you know, when I first started, I was working in, what's that last year? Sorry, I'm trying to think. I originally started working from my home in my spare room. And then I'm working in a salon room that I rent. But now, hopefully, now I'm going to be having my own shop in town, and there is no way that if I'd have not done it with you and spent the £10 every now and then that I had been on those adverts on Facebook, that I wouldn't be doing that now. I wouldn't be able to afford it. So before I was probably taking 500 a month to 1,000 a month, and now I'm doing 3 to 3.5, sometimes nearly 4.
And that's pounds. So for those who are not familiar with the UK pounds, that's worth more than the dollar. I don't know the exact percentage, but it's probably like 30% more than the dollar. So when she says 4,000, that's closer to probably like 6, 7, or 8,000 US dollars.
Yeah, and that's profit as well from paying my rent and paying my bills. You know, that's take home.
Yeah, because a lot of people throw out revenue because it's a bigger number, obviously, before expenses. But if that's profit, that's awesome. That's more than $10,000 US dollars revenue. So I'm very happy for you. It's been fun watching your growth the past 7 months, and I hope you stick with me forever, because I definitely see you.
I'll be needing you to do everything. But again, that money, you've got to reinvest that money. I just started doing the brows first of all. I've invested it in you, and then that money's come back to me, and I've put it straight into doing lips and eyeliner, of course, because obviously that's what I need it for. Yeah. The next thing will be, years down the line, hopefully, but to be hopefully doing some training courses. And you've got to keep investing in the business, because otherwise other people are going to take over you. So it's got to be long term.
Yeah, it's like you said, if you're not growing, you're dying, or I kind of paraphrase you on that, but and that's the truth. Like, I think honestly, some of the worst situations I see that I think will, when I talk to a lead or talk to a permanent makeup artist are the people who are like, well, I'm booked out 6 weeks and I'm happy with that. And I'm like, well, you need to take advantage of this situation and really, invest that money to, grow your brand, grow your reputation, because you might not always be booked out 6 weeks. Things can ebb and flow, especially in this industry, as we've seen. So, I think those are some of the worst situations, is people who get complacent.
Yeah, you think you're at the top of the game and then you're going to go down. You want to stay there. So I'm not there yet, but hopefully soon.
Yeah, and I've seen that all the time, especially with, a little bit older generation, where they've been in business, 30 plus years, and they got complacent, and then, social media just totally changed the game and has been crushing them. So it's always fun to be able to get them back on their feet and help them grow in that situation too.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, you've shared some awesome tips, and I appreciate you joining me. I know it's in the UK, it's a little bit later there than it is here in Alaska. But it's been a pleasure working with you. Thanks for sharing everything. And if you have any closing thoughts on, like if someone's on the fence about hiring me, or they're just not sure about, should they invest in marketing or something, what would you say to them?
On the fence, I would say that look, you don't have a contract to book with you. That was one of the things I liked. Obviously I know that might not work in your favor all the time, but for me that was a massive thing, that I'm going to spend this money now. If it doesn't work, I would at least give it 4 months, and I knew that. But for me, I wanted to at least make my money back, but I would still have been happy either way not. But work out how many clients you need to get to make sure that you've paid off your fees for yourself in the Facebook ads. And if it isn't working and you really don't enjoy it, then you can stop.
Yep.
So within that month. So to me, it's a no-brainer just to give it a go. But at least give yourself as long as you possibly can. And I know it's really tough with money, but like we were saying the other day, you look at some people, and if you just started a year ago with yourself, they wouldn't be in the same place that they are now.
Yep.
I was going to be tighter with money with other things, not going to spend it on more luxury items at home and stuff like that. Making sure that money went to you, and give yourself that opportunity. It's not like you're in a year's contract, so I don't understand why you wouldn't just give it a go, because there are so many people that are on the fence and are constantly asking. I'm not quite sure why everyone just doesn't give it a month, at least.
At least a month, yeah.
At least a month. I just don't understand that part. Just give it a month. And normally, I guarantee, well, I can't guarantee anything, can I? But you'll at least get your expenses back. And if you've not got...
I would say you can, correct me if I'm wrong, but we kind of already talked about this before the call. You can guarantee that I was, the best thing that's happened for your business growth up to this. Besides your own passion, you're a great person and all that. But as far as an investment,
there is no way. I couldn't believe how I couldn't keep it up. I kept writing all these clients down, and it got to 8, and that was in the first 2 weeks. And then I've done a client, and then her friend's coming in. Well, I literally can't keep up with how many I'm doing. I think that where you are really good at what you're doing, that some people don't believe it's true, if that makes sense. Because I did doubt it. Not that I didn't want to give it a go, but I couldn't believe it would be that good. And I'd seen all your videos a bit like this, and I thought, oh, there's no way it's going to be that good for me. No way, surely not. But then I'm quite a positive person, so I'm quite like, yeah, I'm just going to do it. And then it did. It just keeps going and going and going. And if you keep yourself out there, but you need to also be putting your work into your Facebook and your Instagram, and taking these pictures and just putting, some work up there, some comments, because you can't just expect your adverts to go out and then they look at your Facebook and then there's nothing on there.
Exactly.
But yeah, I just think at least give yourself that month's opportunity, and then you will realise that actually you're going to pay it again next month and the next month and the next month, and you're going to just build and build and build, and it's nearly a year down the line.
And like you said, like about the 1 year contract, it's funny you mentioned that, because I actually was talking to another artist that got stuck in a 1 year contract with a company that, you know, I was like, why did you go with them? She's like, I know it was a mistake and stuff, because they weren't even in this industry. But yeah, she got stuck in a 1 month contract. You know, a lot of marketers do, you know, 6 month contracts. And for me, like, I think I could help myself out by doing like 3 months, because I think 3 months is a great time frame. But you know, from an artist or someone who's thinking about hiring me's perspective, you know, I'm super motivated to make sure they are successful. I'm super motivated to make sure they do good I mean, obviously because I like helping people, but for, you know, if there was no other reason, you know, we could say that a practical reason would be because I want them to keep paying me, you know, and if they're not having success, they're not going to keep paying me. And so that's why I'm very, very motivated, along with other reasons, to get people.
And also, obviously, by you not doing a 3 months contract or 6 months, you are confident in yourself enough. So for me, that was like, well, you're that confident that I can end my subscription in 24 days, that I don't need to sign into a contract, because you know you're going to keep me anyway, because you know what you're doing. Exactly. So for me, that was like, well, obviously that's a win for me, because if it is really horrendous, because I didn't know, it's not like I can 100% know anything, but I also knew that there's no way you would do something like that unless you knew that you were going to be able to keep me, like you've just said. Otherwise you'd do 12 months contracts and then you're hooked and you've got no way out of it, even though it isn't good, but you know that you're good at what you do. And that is a massive thing as well. So I know I'm good at what I do for my job. I'm not good at marketing. I'm not particularly good at even chatting on videos. You're doing good. Feel it, but you're a marketer, so you're good at your job. Like, if we were all, you can't do everything. You can't be the cleaner. If you're going to run a really good business, you can't be the cleaner. You can't be the receptionist. You can't be the marketer. You can't be the brow artist or the lip artist. You know, you need to delegate to have a good business. These really big businesses don't just have one person behind it. And I'm not in marketing. I've never done any marketing in my life. I don't know what to do. So why do I think that just because I do brows means that I can advertise my business? I think it's understanding that there's a reason why we all have our own careers.
Yeah, unfortunately, there is a lot of bad advice I've seen on these permanent makeup groups of like, oh, you should, you know, learn and do everything yourself. And I don't know if that's just coming from their own ego, like you said, just because they can do brows, they can do everything, or like I call it the superhero syndrome. You know, I might have had that a little bit my first year until I learned quickly I have to like delegate, you know, the things I'm not good at or I don't enjoy. But it's such a small mindset, and you're never going to scale or grow or, you know, really be able to enjoy your life. Because if you're doing every single thing, you're not going to have any family time. You're not going to have any time to, you know, take a breath and stuff. And that's not a business. That's a job. And you're basically creating slavery for yourself because you don't have anybody helping you. No.
And you're not going to be good at what you're doing, because then you're going to have to take some time away from that, let alone your family, like you said. You're going to have to do more admin work, or if you're talking about marketing, you know. So I'd rather be doing the eyebrows whilst you're getting me the clients in.
Yep, exactly. Well, you know, this has been a great podcast, and I'm super excited to publish it because we just dropped a lot of knowledge on people. I think this is very helpful, so I do appreciate it.
No, thank you.
And if you want to follow Polly on Instagram, do you want to give them your hand? You don't have to, but you can give them your Instagram handle if they have any questions or want to, you know, look at your work or whatever.
Yeah, Polly's Brows and Beauty. Polly's.brows.beauty on Instagram.
Awesome. And for those of you watching the YouTube video, I'll put it in the description below. Alrighty, guys, thanks for watching / listening. And if you have any questions for me or Polly, just let us know. See ya.